Well, farmers markets have long been gathering places where communities can come together and celebrate local food. However, the onset of the coronavirus this spring has caused cities and towns to alter those long-held traditions. Reporter Brock Turner looks at how one city is keeping the tradition alive in the time of social distancing.
On most Saturdays, this area is filled with vendors from all over the state, with residents flocking to purchase locally grown produce and listen to live music. But as with most traditions, coronavirus has forced officials to come up with an audible. Thousands attend the Bloomington Community Farmers Market every week. It's one of the state's largest. Locals come for the fresh products and to enjoy the atmosphere, but vendors rely on the market for income.
We rely 100% on the market, and the market is our sole outlet for our products. We haven't developed any online presence.
That's Whitney Schlegel. She and her husband co-own Marble Hill Farm in Monroe County. They primarily produce beef and eggs and have been coming to the market for years.
And in fact, this is the time of year when chickens start laying more eggs than they do throughout the winter months. And so, yeah, our egg production triples from what it is in February.
The city quickly worked to move the market online, and Schlegel says she's beyond thankful. Many of her restaurant contracts are on hold, and she was worried she'd have nowhere to sell them. City officials say arranging an online marketplace was challenging.
But this has, of course, made things entirely different. At first, there was a question about whether or not the market could be held at all.
That's Yael Cassander, the communications director for the Bloomington Mayor's office. She says the city was confident the market could fall within the category of food and food service providers, which would allow it to continue in spite of Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb's closure of non-essential businesses. But the city still had to make changes in order to follow the governor's guidelines limiting crowds. More than 100 vendors are registered for the online market. Shoppers can browse by vendor or product. Then they can pre-order their items and pick it up in a drive-thru at the regular location in Switchyard Park. Last weekend was the first. Folks weren't sure how it would go, but the response was overwhelming. The market sold out of product just hours after opening. Vendors say the lines from the drive-thru market were long, but ask for patrons' patience.
We just hope that all the customers will give it another try and let us see if we can keep getting better at what we do.
And across town at the People's Farmers Market, it's a similar story. This market was formed in response to a controversial vendor with ties to a white supremacy group and the subsequent action from the city. Vendors here have been preparing boxes and distributing them in a drive-thru.
And it's been such a tremendous community building experience. Some of the people are putting signs in their trunks when we place the produce and saying, "Thank you for doing this." And so it was good to get that reinforcement.
Regardless of which market residents attend, farmers like Whitney are thankful to the volunteers and patrons who make it all possible.
It means a great deal to all the producers and all the farmers, and so we're very thankful.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Brock Turner.
The city says it will keep the online market at least until current social distancing requirements are lifted. Officials don't know if it will continue the online portion of the market after things have returned to normal.